There is a world that is virtual and different. It can be so cold, it makes us stand up for what's right. Our hope to realize is if we reset it to the start. And surprisingly enough, I am not talking about Fusionfall, the hit MMO that brought together the all-stars of the Cartoon Network universe to battle the forces of Fuse, but I'm actually talking about Code Lyoko, one of my favorite shows, as obviously stated by my YouTube name. Hey everybody, I am the Lyoko Gem, and it's finally time for me to get into it and explain how Code Lyoko fits into my own Fusionfall universe. So to begin, like Steven Universe, we'll be combining the lore of Fusionfall and Code Lyoko, and like last time, there are spoilers to the original series of Code Lyoko, so fair warning. Now, Code Lyoko is a story that follows 4 children who go into a virtual world to fight an artificial intelligence program called Xana, whose main goal is to wipe out humanity. Now, after 2 years of fighting Xana, a lot of stuff has happened. Xana had stolen the keys to Lyoko from Ilita a little over a year ago and escaped the supercomputer. A couple of months ago, he destroyed all of Lyoko, only for Jeremy to rebuild it again. And oh yeah, William Dunbar was Xana's puppet for a while. But William was Xana's puppet. Our story now takes us to the days following the episode Down to Earth, in which William is freed from Xana's control. Everything seemed normal for a while, but during the events of Fight to the Finish, Fuse arrived on our planet, just after the destruction of the Colossus and the escape to Sector 5. Ilita wanted nothing more than to destroy Xana, but with the arrival of Planet Fusion, leaving a Terrafuser latched onto the side of the factory, they had no other choice but to get out of there. Xana immediately called off the attack, leaving William unconscious and forcing Ulrich and Yumi to carry him out of the factory. So yeah, Fuse invades and the factory has a giant pulsating Terrafuser latched onto the side of it. But Xana waits it out and decides that he absolutely hates Fuse, for reasons I'll get into when I get there later. So because of this, Xana decides to assist Jeremy and the Lyoko warriors, giving them an edge against Fuse. They were able to make it so that the Lyoko warriors are able to constantly have their Lyoko forms and powers on Earth through a modified version of the translation program. And with that, the lore is set, and it's time to set up the locations. First off, we have Kadic Academy, which has been given its own map space located in the suburbs. Kadic Academy is the school that the Lyoko warriors and other characters from the show go to, and is one of the main settings of Code Lyoko. Kadic Academy is located in a new spot between the Genius Grove and Eternal Vistas. In my Fusionfall universe, this is a school that you either have to have a scholarship to get into for either athleticism or academics, or by simply having enough money to go there. Of course, the school fees are much more manageable to pay if you're a day student. Aside from the Lyoko warriors, characters like Connie Maheshwaran go to school there, and it's also where Dee Dee used to go when she was in high school, where both Mandark and Dexter would have gone through scholarship had they not set up their respective companies. That aside, Kadic Academy is home to fusions from the show, including Fusion Odd, who's located in what was Ulrich and Odd's dormitory, and Fusion Sissy, whose lair is located in Mr. Delmas' office. Because the school isn't an infected zone yet, players would have a lot of missions which they would have to protect the school. In the future, Kadic Academy is still an area, but the school's administrative building and classrooms are still intact as well, but a little worse for wear. Giant gaping holes are in the walls and several windows are broken. The science building where Mrs. Hertz once taught is now an entire mess of fusion matter, and the dormitories, just a pile of rubble long forgotten from the war. Now we move on to the other area from Code Lyoko, and that is none other than the Renault factory. Now this area is plain and simple. It's the factory that the Lyoko warriors use in the show to go to Lyoko. In the Fusionfall universe, the factory was previously used for the manufacture of cars and other junk by a man who calls himself Mr. Boss. But when the business fell through, he abandoned the factory and left it as just another random spot on the map. But that was 15 years ago. 10 years ago, when Franz Hopper was on the run from the government, he found the factory and used it to build the supercomputer we know and love today. Except now, the factory has a giant terrafuser grip to the side of it. But for the most part, the factory is still pretty intact. That's it for part 1. Next up, we have Jeremy and Aelito, which will be coming tomorrow. So until then, this has been the Lyoko Gem, signing out.